The Libyan leader, Colonel Gaddafi, has offered to provide weapons for a black army in the United States to create a separate state. In a live satellite broadcast to a black Muslim convention in Chicago, he said white America refused to accept blacks as U.S. citizens. It must therefore be destroyed. This report from Brian Barron.
It was the Black Muslims' annual Saviour's Day, and Louis Farrakhan, their leader, who advocates a separate black nation within the United States, got an offer of help from Colonel Gaddafi. The Libyan strongman spoke to them on a television satellite.
We who are oppressed love those who fight against oppression and the oppressors. Brothers and sisters, it is with great honor and privilege that I present to you the leader of the Al-Fatah revolution from Libya, our brother Muammar al-Gaddafi.
Gaddafi spoke for about 40 minutes to the audience of 4,000. He charged that white people are trying to destroy blacks, and he called on black people here to take up arms and form their own nation.
To express my full support and support of my country to your struggle for freedom, for emancipation.
Gaddafi even offered to provide weapons for a separate black army of 400,000 soldiers in the United States.
But first, Colonel Gaddafi's rocket.
When we last reported, OTRAG were operating from a remote plateau in Zaire. They insisted then that they were merely trying to launch satellites for third world countries. But our report raised the question, when is a rocket not a rocket? In Zaire, it seemed it really was a rocket. That is something like this, which goes that way to put something into space. But the same device, tilted, say, to an angle of 45 degrees, could, of course, become something very different. A missile possibly carrying a warhead. After Panorama reported, OTRAG were told to leave Zaire by President Mobutu. So what's happened to them since then? The short answer is, quite a lot. They're now test-launching rocket devices for Colonel Gaddafi in the heat of the Libyan desert. Once again, they say the whole thing is peaceful, but we think their claims are, to say the least, questionable. Here's a report now on Gaddafi's rocket. For Colonel Gaddafi, the launch of his first OTRAG rocket. For OTRAG, the start of a deal worth $100 million. OTRAG's version and the Colonel's have a familiar ring. This is simply the peaceful use of space technology.
I think it is peaceful and civilian activity for investigation of space and something like this. And it has nothing to do with any military things.
But Gaddafi's never hidden his fascination for costly military toys made in the West. It's known that he spent millions on trying to acquire a nuclear bomb. It's hard to imagine that he could resist a system that would deliver even non-nuclear warheads. Yet for someone who's given OTRAG a huge launch area in his country and provided MiG fighters to protect it, Gaddafi seems oddly vague about their intentions.
It has something to do with the investigation of space.
If Gaddafi has been offered the same deal, and we believe he has, this is what it would mean. A missile could be launched from its base in Libya with a range in the region of 2,000 kilometers. That would put Libya within range of an enormous area. Ominously, Tel Aviv would be in range, and so would Cairo.
Any supply to a country like Libya, one of the most irresponsible in our region, especially by Germany, of deadly weapons, is from any human point of view most repulsive, because the German people must never forget what was done under the National Socialist regime to our people. And if they should provide our enemies with deadly weapons which may be turned against Israel, it would be a crime against humanity.
You can turn this bloody thing into a weapon.
A missile.
Yes.
Like our Munich source, Weimar insists that Gaddafi offered Otrag an inducement worth potentially millions of dollars.
At least $100 million.
Bis jetzt gibt es keine Wünsche der libyschen Regierung an Otrag.
Up till now, the Libyan government has expressed no wish about what they want us to do.
Einen eigenen Nachrichtensatelliten oder auch einen eigenen.
Should they express a wish to have their own communications or surveillance satellite, Otrag will treat Libya as it would any other client.
Dann wird Otrag Libyen wie jeden anderen Kunden auch behandeln.
Is Libya getting involved in the space program, in its own space program?
Yes, if we can, why not? It is peaceful and legal.
Whatever Gaddafi says, there's nothing particularly peaceful or legal about his record so far. A missile of the sort envisaged, no matter how crude or unwieldy, could be a chilling proposition with its range of 2,000 kilometers. And not only for the Middle East. We believe the documents we've uncovered show that Gaddafi is prepared to take another dangerous step forward. The risks of placing a possibly devastating weapon in his hands are obvious. The evidence seems to show that Otrag's prepared to take that risk if the price is right.